Hi, my name is Johnny Lockjaw. With the early access release for the Forever Winter coming up in a week on September 24th, I wanted to go over a few things that I'm going to be looking for my time in the beta that I noticed needed a little bit of improvement. With that being said, we recently hit a major milestone on the channel. Recently, we surpassed 1,000 subs. Let me be the first to say that I genuinely appreciate all of the support that you guys have shown me. It honestly is not lost on me how much you guys matter. So, a quick round of applause. I am not sorry. And now with that out of the way, let's talk about it. I'm going to be looking for some friendly AI improvement. Basically, the only thing that the AI companions would do realistically is blow up your location, as they would shoot everything on sight. Was this funny? Absolutely. Was it helpful when you're trying to sneak past a group of enemies and suddenly you're in a firefight? No. Absolutely not. Realistically, the only thing that they need to change on this is a simple fire at will or hold your fire command that you could issue them, and that would basically put that issue to bed. Now, admittedly, next, the devs have already said that they're working on this, and there are going to be improvements on early access launch, and I will be looking at them very closely to see how much they've improved, but they need to make enemy player detection improvements. Oftentimes, you would be sneaking through an area, thinking that you're fine, because you should be, but then suddenly a Euruscan grunt or a cyborg would spot you from 1,000 yards away, and you would be its primary target for the rest of its life. Regardless of how it spots you, or what it is that you're doing, or what it is that it's supposed to be doing, it, realistically, shouldn't do that. Again, it is on their radar, and they said that they've already improved it, so let's hope that that is significant. In a game where split-second decisions matter, there is literally no time to lose. With that being said, sometimes you would lose a step or 7 to some enemies that you really don't want to because you get stuck on invisible rocks or invisible walls. Now, these occurrences happen few and far between, but they happen often enough for them to have been noticed and reported, so hopefully that's addressed in a positive way. On that same topic, the traversal and mantling mechanic needs a little bit of work. Now, obviously this is from the beta, but it is super jank to try to climb over things just to climb through them or into them. Getting stuck in the geometry of a level in a game like this, where basically everything matters and you lose everything if you don't successfully extract, is not a great feeling. Deaths or run ends that lack player agency, or things that leave negative impressions on the player base, especially for those who don't have the desire to have their time wasted for one reason or another, that basically can't happen. Again, it's an early access release and you kind of have to go with the growing pains a little bit, but hopefully that can be mostly resolved before it comes out. On to some cooler stuff, there probably needs to be a little bit of weapon balancing. Simply put, some of the weapons outperform the others by a significant margin. For instance, if you got your hands on a drum mag for an AA-12, you were a literal god of death. To contrast that, if you had any 50 caliber weapon, which you can bring in yourself, it felt like you were basically doing no damage. At the very least, you were doing so little damage that it almost made no sense to use it, which was super unfortunate. Obviously, this is just some numbers tweaking that needs to happen, so, hopefully that happens. Who knows what it is that they want to do with that. Also, generally, the UI needs a little bit of work. Oftentimes, if you came out of the raid with a full bag, the endgame loot screen would just have an overflow of items for what it is that the table can hold. It didn't by any means prevent you from continuing. It just looked a little weird. Hopefully that's not there. There was also folks that didn't know that there was extra faction quest tabs that were available because they simply didn't hit the back button on the only one that you start with. So that probably needs to be addressed, or at the very least it should be more clear that there are extra quests available in some way. And finally, this is just kind of a long-term thing that I hope that they get to. I'm sure that this won't be present at early access launch, even though I desperately hope that it is. Again, for now, this is probably how it's going to be. It's in early access after all, so there's only so much of that kind of stuff that they can do. But I'm hopeful that they can remove static loot locations because it'll randomize the routes that people can actually take and increase the replayability on every maps more than they already are. What's interesting about this is I know that there's already randomized loot spawns, technically. Some of the areas of the map I know that have loot don't spawn it every single raid, but that doesn't happen for every box that exists, which I find really odd. But it probably had more to do with the fact that we only had access to 2 maps, so they actually wanted us to be gathering things. I'm not 100%. Regardless, it'd be really cool to see that feature. Again, just to see that there's randomized stuff that makes different routes available and possible. With all that being said, again, thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. If you made it this far, don't be afraid to like, comment, follow, or subscribe. I would genuinely appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for 1,000 subs. I genuinely can't believe that I achieved that, and I have all of you to thank for it. Finally, do me a favor. Please don't die. I will see you in the next one.